Welcome to Game & Grains, the whiskey gaming channel. I'm your player one, Richard. 250 years as a nation is truly a monumental milestone and one that deserves to be celebrated. And what better way to celebrate the unity of all 50 states than with a pour of bourbon that embodies that very idea? A bourbon blend that, like this great nation, is truly one of a kind. And that is none other than Lost Lantern's United States of Bourbon, a blend of whiskey representing every state in the Union. So let's get to celebrating. So grab your controllers, pour yourself a dram, and let's get into it. For those of you who have never heard of Lost Lantern, they are an independent bottler. Their team scours the United States looking for unique bottles from smaller distilleries. And for them, it's more than just about the whiskey. It's about having the opportunity to share with us, the consumer, the unique stories from each one of the distilleries. And what cooler story can be said than what we have here in front of us? Now, many places do have their own commemorative bottle that they are sharing here as a homage to the 250th anniversary of our nation. But I don't think there could be a better representation than these three bottles here, the United States of Bourbon. Now, to give you a picture as to what is going on here, each one of these bottles, at least these two here, has a blend of over 50 different whiskeys or bourbons, one from each state. That means from Alabama all the way to Hawaii, from the East Coast to the West Coast, every state is represented. And we do see some familiar distilleries that we know and love featured in here. Things from Leaper's Fork to Cedar Ridge to High West, and even distilleries that maybe aren't so well known. Denali Spirits from Alaska. I didn't even know that Alaska or Hawaii even had a distillery. So that's really cool to see that that is represented here. Now, before we can get into each one of these, we need to unpack the bottles as we usually do. And we're going to start over here with this one and work our way across. Now, the first United States of Bourbon bottle that we're going to take a look at is going to be their 100 proof. Now, as I had already mentioned, all 50 states are represented here in the bottle, and that's no easy feat to create a blend that still tastes like whiskey and represents every state. Now, 100 proof age statement is going to be from 2 years to 10 years. And then the MSRP for these is going to be $79.99. Now, you are going to have a greater opportunity of getting one of these bottles because there are 6,800 of them that were produced. Now, as we move our way over, this is going to be the same bottle here, but is going to be represented at cask strength. So, same age statement, ages 2 to 10 year whiskeys are represented here from all 50 states. Proof point, a little bit higher since it is cask strength, 122.9. MSRP is $99.99. Fewer bottles available of this one, 3,300 of these. Now, what really sets this bottle apart here, what really makes it unique, is that instead of all 50 states being represented here, this is going to be their 1776 edition. So in this bottle is going to be the 13 original states or colonies that are going to be featured here. So while these two feature all 50, this is just going to be those original 13. Now, age statement is going to be from 4 to 8 years. Proof point is a little bit less than that cask strength. It's 121.4 proof. Cool thing, though, is that there are 1,776 bottles, 1776 bottles that are produced of this. Now, with this being unique, you are going to have a little bit higher price tag, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be worth it, which is the MSRP of $199.99. Now, before we move any farther, as I'm getting these into the Glens, it goes without saying that I need to send a huge thank you out to the folks over at Lost Lantern for sharing with me these samples here to try out and share with you. As I had, as I failed to mention, you can purchase these in several different ways. They do offer these online. So you can get it through their website, through Sealbach. They do have several retailers in various states that do carry these. Not every state, but several states. And you can also purchase these at their tasting room in Vermont. As I'm finishing getting these poured and ready to go, some other cool things, they do have a club called the Discovery Club. You receive a bottle once a month of a new, never released bottle of Lost Lantern. I believe that's $90 plus shipping, or you could also buy bottles of their other offerings online or through those other venues that I had previously mentioned. If that's something that you're interested in, I'll make sure to leave all that information down in the description below. All right, let's dive into these. Just like the descriptions, we're going to work our way over here from 100 proof all the way into 1776. Now again, remember, 50 states, 50 distilleries are represented in this blend. Think about the time, the energy, the thought process that went into making this bottle here and to get it to taste like whiskey. That in and of itself is an amazing feat. So, in on the nose. So very faint, oaky tannin notes. Some underlying spice. Some vanilla. So everything that you come to expect out of a bourbon is present here, which again, you're thinking about it, 50 different distilleries all blended into one to accomplish this. It's pretty good. In on the palate, cheers. It's crazy to think about just how complex this tastes, especially for being a lower proof point. So I would describe it as I guess it's those traditional rye notes that are going to be there. I do get a little grassy or hay on there. And that is, again, evident on the nose. Let's go in one more time. So there are some light fruity notes there, some definite citrus that is present. But all around, just great. You get the sweetness from the vanilla. You get the fruitiness, the citrus, spicy notes. I mean, what more could you ask for out of this, especially for being comprised of what it is? It's just great. So that just makes me feel like this is the proof point I typically stay around, that 120 mark. This is probably going to be stellar. So again, as I mentioned, same mash bill, same blend as the 100 proof, except for now we're taking it up 22.9 proof points. So let's get in on the nose. This one, I could live in this one. Everything that was here, just taken up a notch. Those wood influences there, that oak tannin, spices are there, a little bit of citrus. Man, this is great. All right, in on the palate. Cheers. All right. Those fruity notes are there. I'm getting almost like trying to think of a berry. that is sweet, but not like overpowering sweet. I want to say a raspberry, but maybe not as intense of a raspberry. One of the things that really has me locked in is going to be the mouthfeel. It almost feels like there's just velvet or a creaminess that's just sitting on my tongue, which I've gotten before, but this is more present of a creamier mouthfeel than what I've gotten out of any other whiskey before. Let's go back in. Sometimes your nose changes after you have a sip. So a lot more of those citrus notes that are there. All right, one more taste just because. Almost got like a pastry note there, a hint of chocolate, definitely some citrus, those berry fruits that I was talking to you about. Can't forget the sweetness there, the vanillas. This, out of the two, has been my favorite. Now, that's not to poo-poo on the 100 proof. This is great. The 122.9 proof definitely does not drink like a 122.9 proof, but out of the two, this one is my go-to so far. Now let me get some water between this one and then moving into the next. Now the last one that we're going to try out of the United States of Bourbon lineup is going to be the 1776. So remember that these are comprised of whiskey. One distillery from each state is represented here, whereas 1776 is going to be a representation of the original 13 colonies, the original 13 states of the United States. So it's going to probably taste a little bit different. I'm really intrigued to know what this one tastes like. I have a book back here, been doing some really nerdy deep dives into whiskey. And if you know anything about whiskey in the country, it was really a lot of rye whiskey that was prominent first before we moved things south and we started to get really into the crop of corn, which brings in some of the sweet notes. So I'm anxious to see, are we going to get some of that more stronger rye bourbon here versus these? We're never going to know until I shut up and try. So in on the nose. Surprisingly, at least for my palate, my nosing, I'm not getting a whole lot. Okay, so if you've ever been to the Northeast, the rye up there is going to be different, is my understanding, than the rye that is elsewhere. And so I could definitely pick up that. It's not what I would consider to be a traditional like rye spice, but that rye is definitely there. Peppercorn. A little bit of chocolate. Okay, now slightly less proof. I think this is 121.4. That's 122.9. So in on the palate. Cheers. That is good. That is pretty good. So you still get the zest, the citrus that you would get from these, but it's different, a lot milder in flavor. I almost get like a light pastry or maybe in like an almond or something like that on here. This, to me, the cast strength seems very bold. This one is a little bit more subtle. Still very complex as far as the flavor goes. Still gives you a nice mouthfeel, nice creamy, kind of just velvety on the tongue. I prefer this one a little bit more just because of the flavors that I'm getting, but this one is still absolutely Amazing. Let's go one more time. So I missed some of the wood notes that are there. A little bit more spice now that we've had some on the palate. One more time. Cheers. All right. Going back to it, I am getting a little bit more of those rye notes that are there. Again, that citrus is there, those peppercorns, a little bit of like underlying vanillas and chocolates and stuff like that. But this one right here is really good. Now, out of the three, this one I am getting a little bit more drying on the mid palate. But man, you cannot go wrong with any one of these. And whether that's not important, the fact that you have in each one of these a blend of at least 13 or more, and in these cases 50 different states represented in here, is truly a mind-boggling thing and an accurate representation of how the country, although in our individual states we come together to make this one really awesome thing, I think is just such a cool representation. All right, I can go on and on about this, but y'all probably got better things to do. So out of these three, my lineup would probably go cask strength 1776 100 proof. And again, that's not saying anything that one is better than the other. These are all phenomenal, and I would love to have full-size bottles of these on my shelf. In fact, I probably, after I turn this off, I'm going to go pick up this guy. So, again, amazing thing. Amazing that they have all those different states represented here. All right. I got to stop talking, stop raving. Lost Lantern, check them out. I will leave a link down in the description below on how you can purchase one of these bottles, all three of these bottles. Get your hands on them before they are gone. Very, very limited. 6,800 here for the 100 proof, 3,300 for this one. 1,776 of these, and they will probably go fast. So, all right, in the comments below, real quick, let me know, have you ever tried Lost Lantern? If you have, what is your favorite bottle? I would love to know. Have you tried any of these yet? If so, out of the three, what is your personal favorite? Cask strength, is my favorite. All right, thank you for sticking until the end. I'm your favorite player one, Richard. Have a good one.